Before we start working with Python 3.8, we have to activate the environment which we had created. If you remember, the environment name that we had created was Python 3.8 venv. So I'm going to activate that environment. Now that I've activated it, I'll give the command Python and observe I'm now inside Python 3.8. So whatever I write now will be with respect to Python 3.8.2. All right. So the major change that Python 3.8 has is called as the assignment expression, which is the Walrus assignment. Now it is called as Walrus for a reason. We'll get to that, but let us just take an example what I'm trying to say. Let's say I have a variable n, and to that I have a value, let's say 12 given. Now I want to print that value of n, that is in this case 12. Now if I want to do this in one line, then that can be done with respect to Python 3.8. Observe how I give colon followed by equal to, and then I'll give the object, that is 12 in this case. So what happens is when I press enter, observe, I get n value which is assigned as value 12, and also it is returning a value. What is that value which is returned? It is 12. So that value is getting printed. If you see, the reason why it's called a walrus assignment is because it's like a cute walrus having eyes and then the tusk coming out. All right, so that's the reason why it's called walrus assignment. Anyway, jokes apart, let's go to the actual use of this Walrus assignment. So let's say you have a file which has line 1, line 2, line 3. Observe the name of the file that I've given here is F1. It's a text file and it has been saved in my C users user directory. Why am I telling you that? Because that's another tutorial that you may want to look up. Because how do you read a file? Where can you go fetch the file from? That's another topic. Anyway, so let's say you have a file and you want to read a file. So what do we usually do? We usually use a for loop in order to read a file. Or we could even do it via while loop, but it's not so handy or not so useful. I shouldn't say useful, maybe it's not so easy. Now I'll show you how it can be done with respect to a while loop. Observe, while, before I do that, I should have opened the file, my bad. F is equal to, I'm going to open the file, which is f1.txt. I'm going to open it in read mode. Now I have to read this file line by line. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have a while loop that says while line, which is the variable name that I'm choosing, and I'm using this new assignment operator, which is Walrus operation, and I'm saying f.readLine. When I do this, observe, I print each line. If you see, it is line 1, line 2, line 3 has been printed. So what's really happening here? Let's understand. Here in the first set, I've obviously opened the file and created an object f. That f is, the method is being used, which is the readLine method, and that basically reads individual line and it puts it in the variable line. So what does this do? Line, is this equal to true or false? It checks. Now while loop has kind of like a logic. Let me tell you what that logic is. When you say while true, obviously this is going to be an infinite loop because it's always true. So what do we do in order to come out of this loop? We use a break statement. So observe, it will print high only once. What if I write while false? Will the print statement get executed? The answer is obviously no. So what is the false equivalent? False equivalent in Python is 0 and even empty string. So what really happens is when in this loop the first line is read, that line is put into this variable line. It is anything but an empty string, hence it is true. It goes inside this while loop, prints the line and then goes back. Then what happens? It reads the next line, puts it in this variable line, and is it empty string? No, it is not, because we had 3 lines. So it comes inside this loop, prints the line and then goes back, and then gets the third line, puts it in this line. It is not equal to empty string, hence it goes back again. Now when it tries to read again f.read line, it gives you an empty string. Why? Because there is nothing in the file now. The cursor is at the end. Because it is empty, that has been put in this variable line or the object line, and it is empty string. Because it is empty string, it is considered to be false. Because it is false, it comes out of this while loop, and that's the reason it does not go into an infinite loop. I hope that made sense to you guys. Let's go to the next example. All right, so the next example is going to be lambda expression. I hope you guys know what lambda expression or lambda function is, and if you don't, I will be giving the link in the description, so please go and check that out first. Now in lambda expression, if you guys are aware of it, you must know that you cannot perform any assignment, right? So you cannot assign a value to a variable or something like that. But with the introduction of this, assignment Walrus operator, you can assign a value within a function, okay, within a lambda expression, and actually get work done with it, okay. So what I'll do is I'll just write a function or a lambda expression which will basically take a number input from the user. When you're calling a function, you will give an input. Let's say you want to divide 447, and you want to check if, let's say, the number 7 divides perfectly 447. All right, so it could be any requirement. I'm just trying to give you an example using such an example. All right, so let me just write a function name. I'll write a small name, divisible or not. Okay, that became big, but anyway, divisible or not. I'll write lambda x. X will be the input that I'll be giving when I am calling my lambda expression. Okay, so I'll say return true when if my x modulo of that with the number which I am going to take from user. Observe, now I'm going to make use of the assignment, the new assignment expression, the Walrus operator. So here I'll take integer number, input from the user. I'll say give input or give your number, whatever. All right, take care of these brackets, guys. Observe, this is this one is closing here, this one's closing here, and I want to say return true if this is divisible. So how do you check if a number is divisible? I have to say it is equal to 0, right? So I'll have to say equal to, oops, where did I give? Sorry, here. Equal to 0. Then it will return true, else return false. All right, let me press and enter. I hope it works. Let me write divisible or not. Let's say 447, that was our number. It says give input, so let me give, let's say 7. Does it divide or not? Answer is false. Why? Because 447 divided by 7 is 63.8. It does not divide completely. It's basically not dividing, what do you call that? It's basically a classic division, right? So that's right. I hope this example made sense to you guys, and you understood what could be the actual use of the Walrus operator. So let's get to the next point, which is also an important point, and let's get to that. The next new feature is the positional only parameter. In order to explain that, I'll just open the Jupyter notebook so that I can give you a proper explanation. So if you see here, I have written a float function. All right, let me just go ahead and see the syntax of it, the documentation. So if you see here, float of x equal to 0, and then you have this forward slash. This x equal to 0 and followed by this forward slash has a meaning. let me just try to convert, let's say 12 into a floating number. So 12 is an integer and I want to convert that to a floating number. So that gets converted. Float of 12 is 12.0. I have the same thing if I had done with 12, let's say x equal to 12. If I do that, observe, it fails. The reason it fails is it's because of that forward slash. So that was previously limited only to the built-in functions. Now that has been included with the user-defined functions also in Python 3.8. Let me take you right. So now, in order to give that, make use of that, the positional only parametering, let us first write a function. Let me give f1 is the name of the function, and I'll give an argument, let's say x comma y comma z, and after that I'll give this forward slash. Now here let me just say print x comma y comma z. I'll just come out of this function and I'll write f1 equal to 1 comma 2 comma 3. Observe, it prints 1 comma 2 comma 3. Now I'll give f1 of x equal to 1 comma y is equal to 2, let's say, and z is equal to 3. I'll give and press enter. Observe, it tells me f1 got some positional only arguments passed as keyword argument. So this is happening only because I have given at the end, if you see there, I have given a forward slash. Now that forward slash is making sure that all the name of the arguments which have been given before, that is to the left of the slash, are all going to be considered as positional only. That means I cannot give a keyword name to it and try to make it look like a keyword argument. That is not possible. So what do you think is the use of it? Well, I've written down one of a use and I'll just read it out. You won't have to worry about the parameter name changes, and that's actually quite good. You know why? It makes sense. Many a times you have, let's say, when version to version the things keep changing, and if you have to remember the names of the parameters, the next version that you're going to, what may happen is in the later version the name of that parameter may change, because of which your previous code in which you have written the name of the parameter, that is you have used it like a keyword parameter. If you say x is equal to something, but let's say that name of that parameter x has changed to x1, it can be done. I mean, it is possible. So if that happens, then your code is going to break. To avoid such issues is the reason why we do this. Alright guys, this is it for this video, and I hope you really liked the video, and if you did, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done that already.